My marriage hit a wall a few months back. You know, I've been in Atlanta visiting my brother. I chose to go to Atlanta because, of course, Martell and I have children together, so it's important. While I do need time and space away, it is still also important for me to be, in an area or a distance that's not too far so that there's not an issue when it comes to exchanging the kids and custody and things of that nature.
The day Melody walked into court became one of those moments that people will talk about for years. It was not just another routine hearing. From the very beginning, there was tension in the air. Everyone inside and outside the courthouse felt that something bigger than the usual legal back and forth was about to unfold. This wasn't simply about papers, lawyers, and judges. It was about truth, reputation, and family. Even before the doors opened, crowds had already formed. Supporters, critics, and curious bystanders gathered with their phones ready. Whispers spread quickly, social media posts started rolling in, and cameras were already recording. The atmosphere carried the kind of suspense that only builds before a dramatic showdown. People didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but they were certain it would be explosive.
Get out!
But there's still certain things we need to talk about.
No, go and keep going.
You talking like that.
Yeah, no.
I don't want my kids to be around that.
Get out.
And every time Martell Holt does something, Melody, she runs social media and put my out there. But I haven't done that.
Martell arrived with complete certainty that the day would end in his favor. He walked in with confidence that could be seen from across the room. His steady stride, sharp suit, and the way he nodded at people as though he had already secured victory told the story of a man who believed he was untouchable. To him, this was the final step in proving that he was right and Melody was wrong. His entire legal strategy had one purpose: to paint Melody as a distracted mother who cared more about music, filming, and her public image than about her children. His team had carefully pieced together a story designed to make her look irresponsible. They came armed with travel schedules, social media posts, and filming dates. To outsiders, it might have looked convincing. Anyone glancing at those details from afar could believe they uncovered damaging proof. But the inside of a courtroom is a different stage. Once arguments began, the cracks in Martell's plan became clear. What he hadn't considered was Melody's preparation. She hadn't come in flustered or intimidated. When she walked through those doors, her calm presence immediately shifted the energy. People paused and turned to look at her, not because she was performing, but because she radiated quiet confidence. She wasn't there for a spectacle. She wasn't chasing a dramatic win. She had something much stronger than speeches and accusations: proof. Real, verifiable evidence. Not gossip, not assumptions, not theories. Actual records. Martell's side stumbled through presentations, clicking slides and trying to assign blame, but it didn't land. Melody simply sat patiently, waiting her turn. When the spotlight shifted to her, the room felt the difference. Her lawyer stepped forward with an approach that was sharp, organized, and exact. The judge leaned in almost instantly, sensing the shift. Piece by piece, Melody's team laid out their evidence: photos from events with the children, teacher notes that spoke highly of her, letters of recommendation from neighbors, school attendance records, and even a written statement from the children's guardian. None of it was flashy. None of it was exaggerated. But together, every page carried weight. Each document told a consistent story: that Melody was present, reliable, and fully engaged in her children's lives. Not once or twice, but repeatedly, day after day, year after year. The contrast was undeniable. Martell's arguments had relied on perception, on making her look distracted. Melody's evidence showed reality, and reality carried more weight than anything his team had tried to push. Just when it seemed Melody had already sealed her position, something happened that changed the tone of the entire day. Her lawyer revealed a new set of documents, something no one expected. The silence that fell over the room was immediate and heavy. Reporters stopped scribbling, the gallery stopped shifting in their seats, and even Martell sat frozen. The papers completely tore apart the foundation of Martell's case. They showed clear contradictions, exposing holes in his story. What he had presented as truth now looked like fabrication. His credibility cracked right there in front of everyone. For the first time, Martell seemed shaken. His usual confidence vanished. He looked down, glanced at his lawyer, and back toward the judge with disbelief. Witnesses later said it was the first time they had ever seen him at a complete loss for words. The man who had spent months calling out Melody on every platform suddenly had nothing to say. At that exact moment, the entire atmosphere shifted. This wasn't about who could argue louder or throw the sharpest shade. It became about who respected the process, who prepared, and who told the truth. And the answer was impossible to miss. The judge leaned back in his chair, holding Melody's evidence, and the silence in the room deepened. It wasn't only the facts themselves that mattered, it was the power shift. For the first time all day, Martell wasn't in control. His posture stiffened, his blinking sped up, and it was clear to anyone watching that panic was setting in. Then the judge turned directly to Martell's lawyer and asked the kind of question that cuts deeper than any shout. Is this really the foundation of your argument? The courtroom froze. No yelling was necessary. That calm, direct question hit harder than any gavel. Martell's lawyer stumbled, mumbling about needing more time, but it was already too late. The damage had been done. The gallery shifted uncomfortably. Whispers floated, and it was obvious that people knew Martell's side had been exposed. Through it all, Melody sat still, her hands folded neatly in her lap. She didn't gloat, she didn't smile. She was steady, composed, and collected. That calmness wasn't luck, it was preparation. She had come into this battle 2 steps ahead, and now the results were showing. The ruling may have ended inside the courtroom, but the real explosion happened the moment the doors opened. The courthouse steps had transformed into a stage. Reporters rushed forward, microphones ready, while fans held up their phones, recording every second. The air was charged, like everyone was waiting for a star to emerge from backstage. Melody walked out first. She didn't wave, she didn't pause for a dramatic speech. Instead, she kept her calm energy and allowed her presence to tell the story. Cameras flashed nonstop, yet she never broke her rhythm. Her quiet grace said more than any prepared statement ever could. To the crowd, it was obvious who had won, not just legally, but emotionally. Melody represented control, dignity, and truth. The applause that broke out was spontaneous, almost instinctive. People wanted to celebrate what she had shown in court. Meanwhile, Martell's exit painted a completely different picture. Minutes after Melody had gone, he appeared with his attorney walking just a step behind him. This was no victory march. His pace was quick, his eyes downcast, and he ignored every question being shouted at him. The same man who entered the courthouse that morning nodding with swagger now looked like he couldn't leave fast enough. The confidence had drained out of him, replaced by a visible tension that he couldn't hide. Social media lit up instantly. Within an hour, hashtags like #MelodyWins and #SitDownMartell were trending. TikTok users replayed clips of Melody walking out, adding dramatic background music, while Twitter users wrote long threads analyzing every expression, every pause, every gesture inside that courtroom. Some accounts even slowed down video of the moment Martell realized the new documents had destroyed his case, pointing out the way his eyes dropped and his shoulders slumped. It was like the audience had turned into a panel of analysts, dissecting the drama in real time. Memes spread across Instagram and Twitter like wildfire. One showed Martell looking stunned with the caption, "When your plan collapses mid-trial." Another side-by-side photo had Melody holding her folder, edited with bold letters across it, "Receipts, rumors." These images weren't just funny, they captured the essence of what had happened. Martell relied on claims and noise, but Melody brought facts and proof. But it wasn't all jokes. Many women in particular filled her comments with gratitude and admiration. They thanked her for standing firm, for not letting her ex drag her down, and for showing that truth can silence arrogance. For them, Melody's composure was more than a personal win. It was a symbol of strength they could relate to in their own lives. Comments poured in by the hundreds, saying things like, "Thank you for showing us what grace looks like under pressure," and "You fought with class and you gave all of us courage." For Martell, however, the response was brutal. His social media pages filled with criticism. Former supporters accused him of manipulation, revenge tactics, and trying to use the children as leverage. Neutral viewers who once gave him the benefit of the doubt now openly questioned his motives. It wasn't just disappointment, they were angry. They saw his behavior as selfish, an attempt to use the legal system for personal pride instead of protecting his kids. Even inside the love and marriage Huntsville circle, reactions spread quickly. Castmates who normally avoided taking sides started speaking up. Kimmy, known for her calm approach, reportedly told close friends she admired Melody's ability to stay poised and handle her business like a grown woman. Maurice, never shy with his words, posted a cryptic message about learning to lose with grace instead of dragging pride through the mud. Fans instantly connected the dots and knew who he was referring to. And of course, Miss Wanda couldn't resist adding her voice. She jumped on Facebook, fiercely defending Martell, arguing that the judge wasn't strict enough, and insisting Melody was playing to the media. Instead of protecting him, though, her rant backfired. People accused her of enabling Martell instead of holding him accountable. In many ways, her defense only highlighted the problem. Too many people around Martell made excuses rather than helping him face reality. Drama spilled over into new debates, with fans arguing online about Wanda's role, Martell's accountability, and whether the show should even keep giving him airtime. The court hearing had ended, but the fallout kept the buzz alive for days, spreading into podcasts, blogs, and panel discussions across YouTube. Yet behind all the noise, one clear outcome mattered most: the children. The judge's ruling brought stability and put an end to the tug-of-war. The message was clear: the kids would not be treated like trophies in a fight between two adults. They needed consistency, safety, and peace, and the court would not tolerate anything less. For Melody, that was the true victory. She hadn't just protected her reputation, she had safeguarded her family's future. She walked out with her custody intact, her dignity untouched, and her reputation even stronger than before. What made it powerful wasn't loud celebration or public gloating. It was the fact that her victory rested on evidence, not noise. She let the truth do the talking, and that spoke louder than anything Martell or his team tried to spin. Martell, on the other hand, was left to face a harsh reality. The system wasn't bending to his ego anymore. He couldn't control the story with accusations or Instagram posts. For the first time, his tactics didn't just fall short, they collapsed completely. The weight of that realization showed in every step he took leaving the courthouse. And now, fans are already speculating on what comes next. Will Martell try to rebrand himself as the victim, doubling down on his narrative for the cameras? Will he escalate the drama in the upcoming season, hoping to reclaim control of the spotlight? Or will this moment finally force him to shift his energy toward fatherhood instead of competition? No one knows yet, but what's undeniable is that Melody set a new standard. She proved that the strongest weapons aren't anger, noise, or pride. They're composure, facts, and truth. And she's made it clear that no matter how many times someone tries to challenge her, she'll be ready. And that's where we'll leave it for now. Melody proved the power of truth, while Martell faced the weight of his choices. The fallout is far from over, and the next chapter is coming. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates and breakdowns.